Good evening, good evening, good evening, people. Good evening. Good evening. This is Spirit Journey. Today is March 30th, 2026, and the time is about 6:37 p.m. here in Rwanda. I have to stop for a few minutes as a plane. Not going to compete with that. I'd like to share a little story. A little story. It's about the bicycle and the rider. Well, one day, once upon a time, there was a bicycle, and the bicycle had an identity problem. It didn't know what its purpose in life was. It was completely lost, and it thought it could, maybe its job is to ride himself in life. And the bicycle found it hard to pedal itself. But it found that, going downhill, it would get a rush. It would get a big rush going down the hill. But, he couldn't put the brakes on, so it was a hazard. He'd get the rush going down the hill. It was easy. And he couldn't go uphill. He couldn't go even on flat surfaces. But he found that going downhill, well, at least he got the rush. And then one day, the bicycle found itself leaning under an apple tree in the shade. And the bicycle was contemplating about its life and its function. And it's wondering, boy, what is my purpose in life? And then one day, there was a person admiring the bike. And the person looked at the bike and said, wow, I like how that bike looks. It looks like it's something that could get me there. So the rider looked at it and everything, and even sat on the bike. And he said, well, I don't know who this bike belongs to, but it's a really nice bicycle. Hey, let me take a spin. And then the rider went off with the bicycle. And the biker said, wow, the biker had the ability to go long distances. The biker could go up hills, down hills, make turns, and just was enjoying themselves. And the bicycle was saying, wow, I can feel the wind going through the spokes of the wheels, and it was getting a real workout, and its pedals was pedaling fast, and then we had the brakes. They were able to put the handbrakes on when going around those fast curves or going downhill, and just needed to go, whoa, slow down. And together, they did spectacular Together they had a very nice journey. The writer, for the first time, said, wow, I always wanted to venture out in life, but was afraid to. And they just didn't know what to do because they didn't know how to get there and they didn't have the resources. But by chance, under the apple tree, a beautiful bike was waiting. And that bike, that trusty old bicycle, was waiting for the opportunity to express itself, to find its purpose. And by itself, it just wasn't making it. But together, the rider and the bicycle went great together. And they had a wonderful, wonderful journey. So the bicycle discovered its purpose. The bike kept its wheels oiled. It was able to get calibrated. But by itself, it just couldn't travel. And the bicycle learned that its function is in its design. The design had a seat because it required someone to sit upon it. The bicycle had pedals because it required someone to pedal. The bicycle had the handlebars because it needed someone to steer it. It was the tool the bicycle learned through this encounter that its purpose in life was in its design. Its design was that it wasn't to try to ride itself, that's impossible, but to be available because one day the perfect rider, the perfect expression of that bike will be manifested through that rider. And that rider would say, wow, I'm so appreciative that the bicycle stayed calibrated, stayed oiled. Everything was on the up and up. And it was waiting for the opportunity to journey in life, to get the right bicycle, to get it there. And upon sitting on that bike, the rider said, wow, I am now expressing my life's purpose. Thank you for getting to the end of this story. Does this story resonate with you? Are you trying to find yourself? Well, you're right there. Or maybe your purpose is built into you. And once you start to relax and let go and stop trying to be, just be. And that's the moral of the story. Thank you, guys and gals, for listening to this story. Maybe the story is also within you to share. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.